All right, so next up on the list, another song that did not break the pistachio barrier.
I love that that's a thing.
It's a thing now.
We start a Pumpkins podcast called The Pistachio Barrier.
Ah, that sounds so pretentious. Like
it's
something
perfect
Billy
for the
Corgan would name.
But
Actually, that's gonna be the flavor of the month next month at the tea shops.
The trick is we have to spell barrier wrong.
Oh, you are.
And that's WPC to you.
Okay, so next up on the list is Said Sadly. Also worse than Pistachio Medley, apparently, according to Gavin.
No.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Hashtag heal.
Look, at least Pistachio Medley doesn't have vocals that aren't particularly in key.
You know what? Play the steel chair drop. I'm hitting you with the steel chair this time.
Okay, where is it? There we go.
There you go. Right across the head for that one.
None of us deserve Nina Gordon. I'm just going to say it right there.
Yeah, this is a great duet. This is fantastic.
I'm not a big fan of the arrangement. I love the song, but I'm not a huge fan of the slide guitar and the kind of countryish vibe. But I love them together, and I love when her vocal kind of soars at the end a little bit.
Well,
They should have done James's album together. It would have been like I think that would have made for a better album, honestly.
If it was just Nina Gordon, I would have been really into this song. It's just that like James's vocals like drag hers down. They make it bad.
Well, you know that other song that Nina Gordon did with the one she did with Billy Corgan, right?
Tonight, and the rest of my...
Yes! God damn it! Oh. Stolen.
Oh,
USA.
See, this song kind of...
USA. Yeah.
So, what? This was like 96, 97 when this was done, the song?
95.
95? There is a Warrant song that came out in 96 that's very similar to this. I think it was called All For You. And I really enjoyed that song. It was a duet. It was Warrant going through their alt-rock phase. And so I was like, oh yeah, this is like that Warrant song. Except actually, I think this one is a little bit more like upbeat and catchy. So I dug the song a lot. I thought this was cool.
Here's something to put in perspective with this. The box set single for Bullet with Butterfly Wings has all the covers on it. But when this was first released, it was just Bullet with Butterfly Wings and Said Sadly. Yep. So when this came out, this was the lone B-side, which is kind of just weird to think about.
Ew,
and I remember
strange.
I paid like $4 or $5 for it at Best Buy.
Yeah, me too. The American pressing. And so I was like, cool, there are 29 songs. Little did I know that like in, a year it would double.
Right? But I mean, right. I like James as a songwriter. I really like... I understand he is not necessarily executing very well as a vocalist, but because I enjoy the composition so much, I give it a pass. It's the same way I listen to Bob Dylan. I know he's not necessarily knocking it out of the park with the vocals, but the composition is so good that I give it a pass.
Well, let's not forget that Billy Corgan fronts this band.
Right.
He should be in that conversation, too.
The thing is that I'm listening to James Iha singing, and I'm thinking, man, I wish this were Billy Corgan. How fucked up is that?
Wow.
Man, your bar is really low.
James Iha's songwriting was just compared to Bob Dylan's by someone on this
by a human person.
By a human person.
I mean, I compared the Kiss album Creatures of the Night to Bruce Springsteen and Foreigner, so,
Hey, that's more reasonable.
It's distinctly possible that Greg has no idea what he's talking about. He just sort of throws words together.
Look, I'm just saying, positively 42nd Street Said Sadly, same quality.
He's like a Markov chain. He's able to produce sentences that are technically real English sentences, but don't necessarily contain any meaningful data.
1,000 Smashing Pumpkins songs, this is what he came up with. Sorry.
Yeah.
Shit to me.
Agreed. James Iha is the better songwriter.
Thank you.
I'm no huge Dylan freak, but
look. Here, what I'm saying is, I was thinking about like an immediate like bad vocalist who writes good songs. That was the first person that came to mind that wasn't named Billy Corgan. I guess Dave Mustaine could also fall into that category.
Either of the Johns from They Might Be Giants.
But they have great voices.
But what I'm saying is,
They have okay voices if they really want to try.
but I think this,
I like
this is a
their
great
voices,
tune.
but
This is
I
a
don't
great
think
song.
they're
That
not.
was the ultimate little pat on the head, like, not bad. You did good for your recital.
Look, I like distinct weird rock voices, and they do that.
No, I have nothing against those guys.
Oh no, yeah, like
So if you like distinct weird
The
rock
whitest
voices, how
band
did
of
you
this
not
ever
love
existed.
Megadeth? But that is about as distinct and weird as it gets.
Man, when I think distinct in front of a metal band, I think like David Draymond from Disturbed. I don't think of Dave Mustaine doing his growling impression. Like, I don't know, man. There's unique, and then there's it just sounds like this is the kid you're debating in the Model UN, and he's getting really mad.
Look, Dave Mustaine and Billy Corgan are the same person. We know it. I've never seen them in the same room together. You know, Billy Corgan is just Dave Mustaine wearing a bald cap. The same guy.
I
It's
also
like,
once
just
had
put
a
on the
theory
bald
that-
cap, and I bend over a little bit in my posture. You can't tell. It's
Yeah.
like Clark Kent, Superman.
I also used to have a theory that Kirsten Dunst was just Billy Corgan in a wig.
You know what? We
on this list,
so we realized that Billy Corgan is
Kirsten
both
Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst and
Oh,
Dave
yes.
Mustaine. I've never seen all three of them in a room together.
I like,
Like
that it
Fergie and
escalates
Bret
to all
Michaels?
three of them.
But
Wow.
next up on the list is Believe.
Oh, come on.
This is the first one that did break the pistachio barrier.
Yes. And you know why? Because it reminded me of Daydream from Gish.
Yeah, it's
only
like
it's not as good as Daydream.
You know what? That is a 100% accurate assessment. I won't fight that at all. You are correct. Any other comments?
Nope.
Wow, buzzing through these now.
Oh, this
Go.
oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I have this one ranked as my my highest non-cover James song.
Yeah, it's Daydream, but not as good.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
again, his vocal delivery on none of these
We should have had
songs
Darcy sing it.
is good. But once he starts going and actually projecting, like this is a good song. Like a really really nice hooks.
I put
Good dynamics.
the song higher than this.
Yeah, it's actually my lowest James song. I think I put the bells above this one. So
Oh,
Now that's insane.
that I agree is insane.
No, I think
They're
the
basically
Bells is
tied. They're
better.
tied for me.
I think the
Oh.
Bells is better
Sorry.
than Believe, personally.
Sorry.
Greg, come on.
I
Sorry,
think.
man.
Well, look, but all the James songs are like higher on the list for me. I still think this is good, but I think when I'm comparing it to the other cuts, it is a little bit too samey to Daydream. At least in some of the vocal phrasing at the beginning, it does take a different direction. But because so much of it reminds me of Daydream, and I think Daydream is ultimately a better song, that's why I dotted some points in terms
Okay,
of James
fair enough.
compositions.
I don't know, like this one actually has some composition behind it though, right? Like
Yeah.
Daydream, your big complaint was it was or
I didn't really complain about Daydream. I said this one's good.
somebody's big complaint on that episode was that like the problem with Daydream is it's not really enough of a song. I think that was Other Steve's complaint.
Well, other Steve doesn't know what he's talking about.
is that it's just like a couple verses and then it's done. Whereas this is a much more fully fleshed out song that actually builds into a bridge and has like some real dynamic shifts between the verses.
Well, sometimes it's not about complexity. It's about just, a song that gives you raw emotional impact. And so, yes, this is a better song from a technical standpoint, but Daydream, I think, works better at making you feel something.
I think they're both great.
I mean, they're both good. I'm not going to say if it's thumbs up, thumbs down. It's still a thumbs up from me.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yes, we've got another great song on the list. This also did not break the pastachio barrier.
It is well below the pistachio
Yes,
barrier.
but you're just wrong. Destination Unknown is next.
So that's the trick. Is you're not even the one who ranked it lowest.
what number?
Guilty.
I don't even know. I mean, we're at the point where I can see all the ones at the top when scrolling up on my phone, so that's good progress.
We're
Can I tell you why this song is so bad?
13 from the
This
bottom.
this is the absolute blueprint for the future embrace.
All right, so because I don't know what that is,
That's
His
Billy
solo
Corgan's
album.
solo album where it's just him and a drum
It's
machine.
pretty bad.
all
so
right.
bad.
So
Lead off single was incredible.
Billy Corgan.
Sure.
No, Billy Corgan forgetting how to write hooks for entire records is basically what it was.
And doing a cover
but here's
of
the thing: this
Bee
is a cover with a lot of great hooks. Like this,
Right.
the original song is great. This is a really good version of a great song. So I haven't heard how it got shitty after this. But it's like, it reminds me in high school where there were the guys who were like, I don't like Van Halen because all the hair bands ripped them off, and I don't like those hair bands. Okay, so you're going to not like one of the greatest bands of all time because some shittier bands ripped them off? Like, no. And so
Yeah, that's dumb.
It's like
I feel like
if you don't like, this song because, okay, Billy did a shittier version later, this is still a good version of something good. So I think it's great. I dug the hell out of this track.
That was
I
that
think it's
Onion
the
article.
worst cover.
I like this version. I think that but like sort of like how I was dogging on Dreamin', I kind of put this in the same boat in the sense that it's a shame that Jimmy wasn't in the band anymore at that point because the drums on the original are so good and so tasty. I mean, Terry Bozzio. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, I would have loved to have heard this, and you can keep all the extra electronics on it, but still have those live Jimmy drums on there. It's the only thing that hurts this version, in my opinion. I think it's still a really good cover in spite of all that, but I miss Jimmy on it.
So as I could actually see that. I rank this pretty low because as much as I love synth heavy new wave and think all music should be that, this one was really low energy for it.
Oh man, you're gonna love the Nets Kiss album then.
Some proper like Jimmy drums. That might have actually made it pretty good.
Said no one ever. Sorry.
Said every member of Kiss, every album. You're gonna love the next Kiss album.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I mean,
best
You're
one
gonna
since
love it,
Destroyer.
That one is basically all synth heavy new wave
All
and
right.
speed metal.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
One of those things are accurate.
Bring it on.
When I made my list, I listened through to this album really a few times, but once while I was pretty high, and then once when I was totally, just a cup of
Just
coffee.
like a little bit high.
Yeah, well, yeah. Once just a cup of coffee, whatever. But both times, the only notes in my little text file here where I keep all my notes, the only note I managed to come up with for Destination Unknown is just meh.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's 31 out of 33 for me.
One of the
well,
times you
that's
wrote down meh.
It's like-
The other
it's
time
like
you wrote down
16 on
meh.
my
My
list,
hands are
so-
huge.
That's 3 more letters than Pasticcio medley.
Now, I don't know. I think this song is just so damn catchy that I had to rank it pretty high. This is, I gave this 29 points, so this is near the top for me. It's a damn catchy tune.
Wow.
Wow.
But hey, Nest Up is a song I thought was kind of shitty. Marquise and Spades. Nest Up on the list.
Oh, man.
Ooh, yeah, you got some disagreement there,
my
Greg.
God.
Yep.
Damn near worthy of Melancholy. Just slightly out of it, but I like.
Yeah.
So here's
I like
here's
Marquise.
the trick with this one, and the reason I say it's shitty is this is when I kept forgetting what it sounded like, and then listened to it about 10 times, so more than any other song on this compilation, aside from Tonight or the songs I'd listened to previously. And I still don't remember what it sounds like, despite putting an extra effort to remember it.
Hate it, wasn't good enough to break it. That one.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
All
guess that exists. And so because I can't remember it, I ranked it low. I don't have anything to say about it because I don't remember what it sounds like.
That is a fair assessment of this.
Desire.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's-
one.
Okay,
This
for
was
my
number
money,
9 for me.
for my money, the Zero single / EP, whatever the fuck, when it was expanded, is the one that most could have been like its own independent release.
Yes,
Minus Pasticcio medley,
other than
obviously.
certain instrumental tracks.
Yeah.
Wait, so are you saying that's your favorite of the EPs?
No,
Oh, okay.
1979 is. I'm just
Oh, okay.
Oh,
A
Zero's
lot of
my
those
favorite
songs
EP.
clearly B-sides, whereas on here, like the production at least is like full enough that it makes sense.
Right.
And I think Marquise and Spades, it could have easily been like, oh yeah, I could have heard that at the tail end of Melancholy, like swap out XYU for Marquise and Spades. And
Ooh.
I don't know. About
Whoa.
Yeah, you know what?
they sonically, guys, sonically.
I mean, I dig that it was completely recorded, mixed down for possible inclusion of Melancholy, and that's very obvious with all of the Zero B-sides, with the obvious exception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
could have, or well, except for Pistachio. I think pretty much anything on the Zero could have been on the album. You know, God, Mouths of Babes.
Yep. This one, Pennies.
Oh yeah.
We'll get to that one.
I agree with Keenan on this one that like it sounds like kind of a forgettable filler track here, but it could have been just as easily kind of a forgettable filler track on the actual album.
So it would have been forgettable filler wherever it ended up.
But if you swap out one of the other kind of forgettable filler tracks on Melancholy for this one, I wouldn't have noticed.
It's more a double album filler than a B-sides album filler. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Yeah, it's fair.
Truly a filler in spades.
What I learned from the Melancholy episode is that there were people on the panel who hadn't listened to 10 of the songs in 20 years.
Thank you.
It's true.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. Doing a panel, for Christ's sake.
One of them basically almost admitted, and I'm not, let me know which one, pretty much right on the front end that they may have not ever listened to every second of it.
Yeah, that was Bob.
Ridiculous.
And that album doesn't even have Pistachio Medley on it.
That would have really messed him up. Fast forward. What?
I mean, I've listened to more of this album than Steve has, and he's the one who owns it.
It's true.
This was... God, come on. It came in a lunchbox. This album came in a lunchbox.
Hey, it's a 45 carrier.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's obviously to fit a CD size, but it's modeled after the old vintage 45 carriers that people would carry around and take to parties and stuff.
Yeah, you have to be our age to know that.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. That's
Hashtag millennials. Heyo.
Lunchbox.
But you know.
Coincidentally, Lunchbox is the best riff on Pistachio Medley.
I knew that was going to be the only reference I could ever contribute to this panel. If one end would be like 45 boxes.
Honestly, at some point, you're just going to start making up titles, and I won't even call you on it because I've forgotten.
Right?
The label at the top of the box didn't say this lunch belongs to.
Yeah, don't leave your copy of this singles collection in the fridge at work. Somebody will steal it.
But there is a lot of pork belly in it.
Oh, nice. Nicely done. Thank you.
I went through a big phase in early high school, late middle school, where this was, you know, Marquis and Spade was one of my favorite Pumpkins tunes. You know, I had it on the Rotten Apples disc that came with that one Greatest Hits album that I bought only for the Rotten Apples disc. And like this song just like grabbed me, and it's, you know, damn, yeah, I love this song.
And can I say for podcasters that little snippet of Billy saying fucker in the beginning makes a really good drop.
Ooh. We might have to add that to the list.
Oh, I forgot that existed.
So, guys, I have great news. We're in the top 20.
Jesus Christ.
It took us an hour and 40 minutes to get there.
Holy hell.
So definitely at least a two-parter.
Oh, somebody's calling out of work tomorrow.
All right, so next up on the list we have Transformer.
Yeah, it's about...
I placed this exactly one above Marquis and Spades.
I liked it a lot better when I went back and listened to it for the first time in 20 years. So sure.
This song has nothing to do with Optimus Prime, so it lost a lot of points for me.
Or a Lou Reed album.
They could have put it on the Transformers soundtrack instead of Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
Nice.
This one just screamed filler for me, and I just didn't really. It didn't really jive with me. It's like, if I wasn't actively listening to this for the sake of a podcast, I'd probably hit the skip button on it.
The chorus is better than the rest of the song.
Yeah, I feel it's catchy enough. It made it on one of their recent live DVDs, strangely enough, which I thought was. I think it's the If All Goes Wrong DVD.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's what, not 2006, 2007, something like that.
Yeah. Nobody has seen that. But.
No.
I want I for some reason missed it. Yeah.
It's good, and the documentary is pretty great. It's worth seeing. I think this is a good, tight, catchy song. Middle. Maybe upper middle, maybe.
Yes. I have this at 18, so it's broken the Pistachio barrier, of course.
All right, let's
Yeah, do we
keep
have-
climbing up then.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything more to say about the songs. It's like, it's okay. All right,
Yeah.
next up on the list, we have A Night Like This.
And now it's
I'm
time to
leaving.
fight some of you guys.
Holy Christ! How can you like this fucking trash ass
Where-
cover of a song?
All right,
Where
we
was
are
this on
fighting
my
now.
list?
This is one of my favorite tracks on this album.
Okay, so here's the thing. As I was telling Steve off mic before this, The Cure for me is a lot like the New York Dolls, where I like the idea of the band more than I like any of the band's actual music.
Absolutely.
I get that.
And so,
Totally.
like, the Dolls, like, I should love them. Like, visually, they're awesome. It's, like, punky, it's glam, it's
Yeah.
influencing the genre, but their songs aren't very good. And The Cure is kind of the same thing, except their songs are better than the New York Dolls, but they're still not that great. They're just okay. And this is one of the shittier Cure songs, covered by the Pumpkins, not doing a good version of a crappy song in the first place.
Man, you're wrong. This is a song. It's like
Whoa.
It's got
what? Greg, what?
Like, this is one of the weaker Cure songs for me. It's like I'm gonna give it a solid C. Like, it's not great, it's not bad, it's like right in the middle. And then here's the Pumpkins doing it, and not really doing it that great. It's just kind of meh.
It's so
Pretty sure-
emotive.
pretty-
It's got that driving energy, and it builds
Driving
to that,
energy?
to that great. Whoa! I want to change it all. Yes.
Driving
badass.
where? Into the lake? I mean,
Okay.
terrible.
Pretty sure that this is number 2 on my list, which means I ranked it higher than one of the 2 big singles.
Oh God.
Man, really?
So,
But, like,
come on,
driving
who wants to take
energy?
me on? I'll take on all you
Driving
motherfuckers.
energy. This is like a grandma driving like 5 Below going to the grocery store on Sunday. If you're talking about driving energy.
You're getting a little mouthy, son.
This is directly below Pistachio for me.
Yeah.
No.
It's just it's
No.
the chord. You know, I like the chord changes, right? Or I like the the basic framework of the song is. I like the Cure version, but I just think that they added nothing and didn't do it particularly well.
I don't
You
know
know,
the
I-
Cure
better than
version very well. So
Destination.
I will say this about this version. I could see this potentially growing on me over time, where I don't like it now, but
Well,
I
let me-
could definitely see this version like clicking with me at a later date. So I'm like, yes, right now I don't like it. However,
Well, I'll tell you when that later date is, because my
that- is that,
Pumpkins
like,
friend.
now?
Well, no, I'll tell you. Well, yeah, maybe by the time I'm done talking. My Pumpkins friend wrote a review of this box set for the local paper and said something about this song, James Iha trying to find his range on the Cure cover, A Night Like This. And he, after listening to the Melancholy episode you guys did, he also ranked the Aeroplane stuff, and he sent me an email, and it's now 22 years later, and he's like, I think finally I unironically understand A Night Like This.
so I
and
just
he's
need
like,
22 years on this, and
You
then I'll be
do.
like, yes.
and then you'll be my age, so we'll be good.
That's a grower.
I didn't hear this
I-
album. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think the dynamics on it are great. When the fucking distorted guitars come in at the end, the squeal at the very end. Oh, come on!
Yes.
And look, again, we're not talking about a great vocal, but I think it's an emotive vocal. The misstep is at the beginning because he's singing it way too low.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love this song so much that I would not listen to the Cure cover and hadn't heard it until last week. And I was kind of shocked because Robert Smith kind of sings it in the same range all the way through. So I don't know why Iha didn't do that, but Iha absolutely gets a ton of points for taking, and I like the Cure version, but absolutely like reimagining the arrangement to, and giving it kind of that ending it really, really needs. I think that this is an absolute winner. And everybody else that doesn't agree is wrong.
You know what? You know what I'm going to
It picks
say?
up in the second half. It does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Half.
I appreciate that assessment. I think that's one of the fun things about doing this show is listening to someone's opinions on a song that maybe you're not super into and then trying to listen to it from that perspective. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to re-listen to it, and I might end up liking it a lot now that I heard that perspective. So I'm not going to...
Please do.
I'm
'cause
not.
I don't
I'm
wanna
not
be
going to
angry
stand
with
by
you,
that.
Greg.
Statement saying, it didn't do it for me, but maybe it will now.
Okay.
So I didn't hear this collection until after I had already listened to Machina, or Machina, however we're pronouncing it. And I hear a distinct songwriting heritage between this one and Eye of the Morning, which is one of my favorite songs on Machina.
Oh, yes.
So like
Great
I
song.
heard Eye of the Morning and was like,
Spoilers.
yes, this song is great. And then I went back and listened to this song. I was like, oh, this is like a sort of a rough early version of that same song. This is great.
Huh.
Huh.
Wow, shut up the
I don't-
panel.
I'll have to get back to you on that, Stefan.
In like
Stephen
a month.
Smith?
Why do you keep calling me Stefan today?
Because of Keenan calling you that in the Melancholy episode.
Calling me Stefan and wagging dicks around.
That's
Sounds like a normal Sunday night.
So, all right. So, next up on the list, we have another one of the cover tunes. We've got "You're All I've Got Tonight" next on the list.
My
Too
opinions
low.
on this one are a lot less strong.
So, I actually like the Cars and I like power pop, but this has always been one of the weaker songs in the Cars singles catalog for me. It's just I just think there were sincerely a lot better songs on this compilation. Like, this is closer to the kind of music I listen to on my own. You know, I'm all about that dad rock, classic rock stuff, but I just think there's better songs on this compilation. It's catchy, it's a great pop tune, but I think there's better songs.
If you ask me for a way to improve a Cars song, making it less new wavy would not be amongst my suggestions.
I think they did a great job on it. I think it's the best of the covers by far.
Calm down. A night like this.
Okay.
Look, I'm just going to say,
However-
on a night like this, Jim Steinman did it better. Just saying.
All right.
Wow, there you go.
Zing.
So, but yeah, like I love the Cars too. Pretty much been alive for their entire output, but it's not one of their best songs. But I really love what the Pumpkins did with it. It's a straightforward version, and it's got more distorted guitars and stuff. And I think it benefited from them keeping it simple. And I didn't even realize I could hear the Pumpkins doing that until they did it. And I just think it's a great cover.
Is there a Cars song you think that they would do better?
A Cars song they would do better. All of them.
drive you home?
You know what? How about like Heartbeat City or something?
I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
just when
something
I
real-
need it.
Something real offbeat and not popular. So
Oh yeah, no.
nothing off the top of my head, honestly, Craig.
Okay. Curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's the highest I rated any of the covers. I put it at 16, but it's. I almost think that a live version taken from a good night would be really kick-ass. I think the studio version of this cover is still pretty good, but I think the energy could be a little more, a little bit more.
I concur.
That freaking clapping section at the end of the solo, after a great solo and that little clapping breakdown, it's got a lot of energy to it, I think. I go ahead and disagree with you on that. But
Ooh.
I mean, it's a straightforward cover. It's well done. If this was the only version of the song that existed, it would be really great. Like, let's say just the car song didn't exist and this was just an original piece by the Pumpkins. This
Big
would be,
hit.
it'd be a big hit. But I just sincerely think other songs are better written on this compilation.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't have it at number one. I just like it.
So the next up on the list is a song I think is better written. It's another little pop ditty. We've got "The Boy" next on the list.
Oh,
What number are we at?
Somewhere in the top 20.
are you sure we're not at 32 still? Because
No, this should be higher.
that's where we're at.
Oh yeah, no, the boy is easily the best James.
Only
song
16
on
songs
this.
left, guys.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. It is the best James Eha song on this compilation, if not
Possibly that he's done in the Pumpkins.
period.
Better than Blew Away?
Oh yeah. Oh,
No,
fuck yeah.
Blue Away is still better. But, man, this is a great tune. It's bouncy,
Boy's pretty
it's
great.
fun, it's catchy. Just
Got a
old
tambourine.
school tambourine, old school power pop. Oh yeah, I dig this.
I think The vocal delivery isn't good. Again, James is,
I think it works the best on this song out of any of James's songs, including Blew Away. I think this works because it just fits into the lushness of the production. It's vocals as an instrument, Steve.
No, right, but this is like a pop song. I think this is meant to be a catchy pop song, and I think
where the vocals are an instrument in the catchy pop
the
song.
vocals. Greg, you're trying to use my words against me, but you're using them wrong.
Oh,
the reason I like the vocals on this one, which is rare for me and James, is the fact that the song is "The Boy." It's about innocence and all this kind of stuff. So James's fragile, kind of amateurish voice actually fits the vibe of the lyrics.
it
and
does.
The vibe of
That's that
100%.
falsetto. That's why it totally works for me too.
yeah.
I like Just a Boy more.
I mean, look, Just a Boy is
definitely.
better, but
Yes.
this is still great.
It's definitely got a better guitar solo.
My least favorite James song on the whole set.
I'd like the vocal less drenched in effects and less buried, but
You listen to the Smashing Pumpkins, dude.
yeah, but again, vocals as an instrument, it means different things in different contexts. This is much more of a vocal-driven pop song. Like I would not attempt to defend Lily, My One and Only with vocals as an instrument that you can't really make out the lyrics of.
No, I'm just being a facetious asshole.
You are.
It'd be a better Tenant Windows song.
You know what? Yeah, Taylor Hanson singing this would actually wow, that's really great. I'm picturing that in my head.
That'd be a lot better.
Yeah, that'd
Or
be
give it to Ariel Pink.
yeah.
This one is just shy of making my cut of if I were to make an album of new songs out of this particular compilation. Yeah, I think this is like just after the cut. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh no, it's number 10. This would make an album if I were putting together a 12-track album.
There you go. It's fantastic, according to Steve.
It would barely make the album, but it'd be there.
Hammer down, judgment made. All right.
All right. So next up on the list is another song that got 0 votes, but made it up pretty high despite getting a 0. We have Tonight Reprise next on the list. Also, Steve, as you've complained about Kiss spelling things incorrectly, look at the way Tonight is spelled.
Now, yeah, look at that.
So there you go.
I just complain about the apostrophes and dropped G's. But yeah, Billy also does not like spelling correctly. Also, he cites Kiss as an influence, so it's probably where he got it from.
Probably.
So did half the panel have this at number 1 or something? Because I purposely did not vote for it.
Oh, this is number 7 for me. I love Tonight Reprise.
Wow.
This was my number 2.
Painful. It's
What is wrong with this?
Look, it's an acoustic version of one of the greatest songs ever written. So
Yeah, come on.
I love the original version, but this I just think that it's a poor ending. I really do.
I've
never liked it. I've never liked it for some reason.
The way I looked at it, if this was the only version of Tonight that ever existed, would it still be one of the greatest songs ever written? And I say yes. And so
Wow.
I adore. I mean, Tonight is my favorite Pumpkin song, and this is a good version of it. Not as good as the original, but man, still a great tune. And so I put it as my number 2.
But let's go ahead.
It's like comparing Cadillacs to prunes.
Well, look,
Wow.
I'm going to be honest. I prefer prunes to Cadillacs. Cadillacs are a bunch of maintenance. Prunes are tasty. They keep you regular.
You could sell a Cadillac for so many prunes, Greg.
Oh, damn. So what I need to do is I need to get a Cadillac so I can get all the prunes.
Take it down to the prune farm.
This
Yeah.
is my prune fund.
I can't carry all my prunes home without my Cadillac. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So that's why you get a Cadillac, so you can put your prunes in the trunk. I never thought about this. So Cadillacs are okay, I guess. But yeah, this is a great tune.
My take on this is this: it works. This one closes out. Yeah, this one closes out the Tonight disc, which works really well. I think is that really helps complete that EP as a cohesive unit. As it starts with the regular full band version of Tonight, which just comes out the gate swinging, is great, and it just like reprises it in this soft, gentle way. I think it's a
Now this would have
good
been a
disc.
great opener for disc 2 of Melancholy. Replace Where Boys Fear to Tread with this.
Wait. Along those lines, when it first came out on vinyl, Tonight Reprise was part of the running order.
What?
The original vinyl has 30 songs instead of 28, Melancholy, and it's completely resequenced. And the last 2 songs are Tonight Reprise and Infinite Sadness, which is a full band version of Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. And
Isn't the original vinyl the one that has 5 vinyls in one? It includes an extra thing called like Tea Time or something.
no. Well, it's 3 discs. It's divided up into 6 sections instead of 2. But then when they re-released it for the deluxe, they put it in the CD running order and split it to 4 discs.
Oh.
But the original 3 disc is completely resequenced. Like the first side is all mellow, and then like it takes more of like an approach like Aeroplane kind of does, where it's like 6 groups of like, 4 or 5 songs. But Tonight Reprise is part of that, and it's awesome there. And it goes into that full band Infinite Sadness. It's such a great ending.
I'm maybe in that context.
That sounds really awesome.
It's really cool.
On my iPod one time, I resequenced it to be a playlist to fit the vinyl one instead.
Yeah.
But oh man.
Yeah, it's a freaky listen.
With this song, the reason I had it so low, I had it like 30 or 29, is because I love the concept so much. And then you read in the liner notes how Billy went to a Chicago Bulls game, screamed himself hoarse, and then just came in and peeled off the vocal for this one.
Yeah.
Sounds
But
like
here's the thing. This is Chicago Bulls in the 90s. Can you blame the man? The era of Michael Jordan?
there you go.
Like, if anything, this makes the song even more awesome, because he's like, tonight the Bulls are kicking ass. Like, hell yeah! This makes the song even
He should
better.
have covered "Serious" by the Alan Parsons Project. Then.
Hell yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah.
It's just okay. Billy Corgan.
Do you not like Chicago Bulls? Like,
No, I love '90s Chicago Bulls.
hell
Come on,
yeah! So this
Are you
this,
American, sir?
God, actually, but
Oh, right on.
yeah.
Uncomfortable.
I'm gonna go away for a second. I'll be right
The
back.
90s Oilers then. I don't know.
yeah, man. Just,
Yeah. Gretzky era Oilers. Anyway, but no, it's more just like Billy Corgan obviously isn't the fucking opera singer at the best of times, and then he comes in and does this thing where it's even worse. It kills the fucking song for me, and it's not the first time a Pumpkins vocal has killed the song for me. But the concept of this one is so cool, and then he fucked that up, so it pisses me off contextually.
Nah, man. If I saw
agree.
the Chicago Bulls kick ass and then I went to my room to record a song, I would just be in a great mood, and that great mood is exuding through this track. Because tonight, it's a song about optimism, and what is more optimistic than Jordan era Bulls kicking ass?
Did they lose?
They game. That's why he.
Wait, they lost? Oh no! What a bittersweet song. It's even better now. The emotion. He has hope that the Bulls will make a comeback throughout the season.
I feel you, man. I feel you on this.
You should be a car salesman. That was great. Like, it's all about the victory. They lost.
We got a new Cadillac for you.
This baby can fit so many Smashing Pumpkins EPs in it.
I do love that kind of vocal blunder near the end, though. That one "Believe in Me," where he
In me.
Yeah,
That kills it. That kills it for me.
it's a pretty,
Oh,
it's a funny Billy Corgan moment. I always kind of giggle at it, but
it's human.
I mean, balls to him for
Human,
putting it
yeah.
out. I mean, that's ballsy putting that version out and not doing another take on it.
yeah.
I'll give him that.
There's an alternate take on the box set.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of alternate takes of all of these songs.
That's true.
They recorded a lot of things and then eventually put all of them out, and you begin to realize what some of them were left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Look, we can all agree that Chicago Bulls in the 90s is the greatest basketball team of all time. We can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of debate on that, but I really don't have a
Oh, shut up, Steve.
I don't have a horse in that fight, but Kobe or something.
Dream Team 92. Dream Team 92.
Kobe?
I-
whatever. Whatever, dude.
You become your father, Greg.
I know next to nothing about
Hey,
basketball, but
I have not become my father. I have not said anything racist tonight. All right, next up on the list, we have Cherry, aka that song with the weird, kind of bad panning that makes it annoying to listen to in headphones, but is great in the car.
It's great from a beginner guitarist really getting into effects pedals perspective.
Yeah, but as a vocalist, as a guy who's like, hey, I just want this recording to be pleasant, like, oh.
You can use effects pedals on your voice.
What I'm saying is, guitar players get really excited when they have a new toy and they want to use it. Whether that new toy is an effects pedal or, hey, I just learned how to do pinch harmonics. When guitar players get a new toy, they just want to use it on everything, even if it doesn't fit the song that they're playing. That's kind of how I feel about the effects on this song, which is otherwise a good song.
See, I feel like it fits, and I don't feel like he's used this effect elsewhere.
It's probably because he got his toy and was like, I'm going to try it out immediately. It's like, oh, that was actually kind of bad. I'm never going to use it again.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I like it on this song. I thought it was pretty cool effect.
Oh, yeah.
It's good in the car, but really annoying in headphones. So this is it's completely different.
I mean, it is a
for me.
B-side. It is a B-side. It just
True.
didn't make it through that extra step. So
I like to think of this. We were talking about there's songs that sound like Billy Corgan warming up. I feel like this is his warm up song for Where the Boys Fear to Tread.
Oh, interesting.
I like it. I like it better than that song. As I'm ragging on the
You
panning.
like most songs than that song.
Sure, you didn't
Yeah,
like
I think
that
that's
one.
what we learned.
Yeah, I mean, I really
better than Where Boys Fear to Tread at this point.
I liked what better?
Most things.
I do like most things better. I mean, it's better than most of the stuff on Gish.
Oh, where's my chair jar?
Well,
I'm running out.
I have it like
I'm running out of
exactly
chair
right in the
samples here,
middle.
Greg.
It's like I don't love it, I don't hate it. It's like the top part of my thumb's in the middle before it gets really good on my list. But
That was a good time when that dropped, Steve.
Yep, I'm great at timing.
it's okay.
Yeah.
the first time I ever heard Cherry, I had some other demo of it. There must have been another demo of it that was instrumental, and it had a different. The drum part was different. It wasn't that kind of like the rim thing. And I wish that the drum part from that other demo was on this one. But other than that, I think it's a gorgeous tune.
Any other thoughts on Cherry before we move on to the next 30 songs? All right. Next up on the list, I think this is the last cover. We've got Clones, We're All, next on the list.
Lord, this was that high for you guys? Oh,
Love it.
All
Love
right,
it.
so
Thank you.
Alice Cooper's in my top 10. So full disclosure
you.
on that, he is, I believe, number 5 on my list of greatest artists ever. So,
Oh, I love Alice. Yeah.
He's my number one.
all right, so yeah, you know how great this tune is, and this song
Absolutely.
is just a hair like almost better than the original, and it's really annoying because it could have been better than the original, except he messed up the bridge and lost the melody, and that is super annoying. But otherwise, this is better than the Alice version. It's just that. Here's the thing.
I disagree.
That bridge, the bridge
I don't think it
is
sniffs the Alice version, but it's fun.
no, I think it's
Yeah.
the thing is I love Alice way more than the Pumpkins. It's not even close. But this version has energy. It's driving. It's a great vocal and it fits Billy well. The guitars sound kick ass. But that bridge, he really drops the ball on the bridge where he makes it really riffy instead of losing that great melodic bridge that was perhaps the best part of the original song. And so that's why Alice's version is still better. But it's so close to being better. Like, you were like right there. You almost had it. You almost had it.
You know where he drops the ball on this?
Why?
Is the one thing that he Billy Corgan is great at big old guitar tones, and he captures that with the rhythm guitar, and he doesn't fix the weenie lead tone that Alice used.
I think that weenie lead tone is fun. I think that's great.
I think they covered the wrong Cooper tune. I think they should have done Generation Landslide instead.
That'd have been good. Pain would have been a good one too, off the same album. Flush the
Oh,
Fashion.
yeah, Flush the Fashion?
Yeah.
They
just
really
already
should have
did a
done
cover
Leather
with
Boots.
Landslide
Leather
on the
Boots would have
title,
been the
so.
great one.
Leather boots.
Yeah, that's a good tune. Or Vicious
Oh,
Rumors.
rockabilly.
Can't go wrong with Ballad of what's his name, Dwight something.
Ballad of Dwight Fry. Oh man,
Yeah.
Dwight
that's
Fry.
such a great song.
That's true.
That is a wonderful tune. Halo of Flies. I could talk for hours.
So we all
Sure.
agree Alice Cooper is great.
Ooh, Dead
Sure.
Babies. They should have covered Dead Babies. It's always a good choice.
Yeah.
I would love to hear
Sure.
Billy's take on that.
Dead Babies. can't take care of. Oh man, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but this is a really great version. Like, they really just it has such a driving energy to it. It rocks more than the original, but it doesn't rock so much that it's lost for me. And look, I love Alice Cooper. I've listened to the Alice Cooper version, for years and years and years before I ever knew this version existed. Mm-hmm. This is just a really good version of a really good song, but they fucked up the bridge. I'm like, damn it.
And that may not be his fault. I do recall an interview with Billy when this box set came out, and he actually said he wasn't even aware of Alice's version of this. He saw a local Chicago band or somebody cover it, and he was like, "Oh, that's a cool song." And then they got to talking about it, but he might have been using their arrangement for all I know. But yeah, he was not aware of the song originally when he first heard it. He heard it secondhand. So there you go.
That's cool.
Weird.
But hey, great tune. Everyone here is in agreement. Alice Cooper is great. He's like 90s era Chicago Bulls, just fantastic.
Iconic.
Yeah.
I do also think this song was hurt a little by sequencing in that it's always blurred together with You're All I've Got Tonight in my mind. I don't know. This might just be me, but these songs sound too similar right next to each other. And
I agree.
They should have been separated.
They were both originally produced by the same guy too, Roy Thomas Baker.
Oh.
Huh.
Thank you. That was my 3-pointer for the night.
I don't know. For me, this stood out way past You're All I've Got Tonight, but that's because, I'm a huge diehard Alice Cooper fan and think the Cars are good, but they're probably not even in my top 40 of bands that I like. So this was clearly my favorite cover by a wide margin.
I put Clones just under You're All I've Got Tonight, because I think that they kicked You're All I've Got Tonight a little harder than Clones, even though I think You're All I've Got Tonight could have had more energy.
I pretty much tied it up with Destination and You're All I've Got Tonight. They're kind of all tied up in the same area.
If they used the rhythm tone that they used on Clones on You're All I've Got Tonight, that song would have kicked a lot more ass, I think.
Yeah, this is a really great rhythm tone. Like, I think that's a big part of this cover's appeal. Is just like how badass the guitars sound, and how like Billy's snarl works really well for an Alice Cooper song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard. You can't teach that. Yeah.
That's why you got to have them do My Stars.
Ooh. Deep cut. Yeah.
Oh man. I'm nerding out over all the Alice Cooper stuff.
Moving on.
We still have 20 more songs left. Okay, next up.
Oh, dear Christ.
No, I mean, we don't actually have 20 songs left. But all right, next up, Rotten Apples. Motley Crue did it better.
Hey.
No.
They did, actually. Sorry, Craig. They did.
Not better, no.
Karabi, man.
No, this is great. This is a great song.
I love this one.
I mean, yeah, no, this is a great song, but I'm just saying, like, come on. Karabi is the man. Just saying.
Yes. We got to talk about that later.
Yeah, Karabi's a badass, but hey, this is a great tune also. I mean, they're completely different. One is like an up-tempo rock song. This is just, a nice little ballad.
Yeah.
But
And Superior.
This feels like a real precursor to Adore, another one of those songs that's kind of like, them fooling around with different kind of textures and making it more than just a ballad, making it like sort of a world. And I think, so I love it. I think it's a real standout on the Tonight single.
oh yeah, it's fantastic. As I'm saying, Motley Crue did it better. That doesn't mean this isn't great. It's just you're competing with the '94 Karabi album. Yeah, this is beautiful. It tugs at your heartstrings.
No, I'm not disparaging. I'm just I don't throw that term around loosely. Do you have like there's some sort of other connection you have, or it just makes you feel that way?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
I guess I was asking you and Craig. Like, does that make you feel a certain way? Is it hit home or something?
Are we talking about the Karabi one or this one?
No, the Pumpkins one. Because I don't feel that way about this song. It's a fine song, but I didn't think it was anything.
I guess just on a pure melodic level, this one just touches my soul immediately, and it just makes me. Once again, this is another one of those songs. I'm going to go back to the Panic at the Disco thing, but this reminds me of Pretty Odd. And that's the kind of stuff I wanted from Melancholy, was these kind of songs. Like, looking at that cover, listening to Tonight, and the title track, that's kind of what I wanted this entire album to be, was songs like this. And there's some great cuts. Like, I love Jelly Belly. I think Zero's great. So there's a bunch of great cuts on Melancholy, but what I wanted the album to be was more in line with this. And so hearing Rotten Apples, I was like, yes, this is what I want from the Pumpkins. This is what I've wanted the whole time.
And good enough to name a compilation after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the lyric on this.
This is Billy doing poetry that actually works.
Yeah.
That's pretty good
So
standout.
this is the gold star for Smashing Pumpkins lyrics. As we've handed out gold stars for Kiss lyrics that are actually good, let's give Billy a gold star.
All right.
I'm willing to give Billy a lot more passes, though, in that, like, his bad lyrics tend not to be offensively bad. They're just like, this lyric doesn't make any sense, and he's probably trying too hard.
Like, why is he talking about flowers and on the moonbeams inside the cat's eye? That's really dumb. But at least it's not misogynistic, you know? That's
It's not like, this song is named after the part of your body I'm going to touch with my dick. But a euphemism for it, you know? Because I'm clever.
Where's that drop, Steve? The new one?
It's on to C as in Kiss.
And it's about Paul Stanley's dick. Now this girl's gonna get some of his dick.
That's the best.
Wonderful.
all right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you've had to be at a Kiss concert as a youngster and have to listen to Paul talking about the rise in his Levi's and click. I don't want to hear anything from the panel unless you've been in that uncomfortable situation.
I saw him in '96 on the.
Oh, no, they'd cleaned up their act by then.
He wasn't
there
talking
was
about his
that.
dick on that
That's
tour.
a good point. Yeah, the whole
My-
nurse and all that.
My grandmother had bought me the Animalized Live Uncensored DVD when I
Oh
was
man,
like
that
11 or
DVD's
12.
fantastic.
And she screened it, and I'm still horrified that she had to hear those words.
It's like seeing nudity with your parents.
So it was twice as bad.
Yeah, I bet.
Baby, that ain't no pistol.
Fucked up.
This song is 4 minutes and 8 inches. That's the worst one.
All right, so now that we're done talking about Paul Stanley's dick, any more comments?
Is anyone ever really done talking about Paul Stanley's dick?
Nope.
Why am I so tired?
Any other comments on Rotten Apples?
It's in the middle.
It's great.
All right. Next up on the list, we have Set the Ray to Jerry.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
No. This needs to be way higher.
Oh, yeah. This is my number one.
Come on.
Oh, wow.
This may be like my favorite Pumpkin song, period.
I think it's most people's.
It's fucking amazing.
The
Jesus
panel does
Christ.
not agree.
No, there's nobody on this panel that can't. No.
Between
That's
Greg
just
and
not-
me, it barely broke double digits in terms
What?
of points.
What
Yeah,
is bad about this song?
There's just better songs on the compilation.
Wait, I'm sorry, Greg, you're behind this?
I think there's better songwriting. Like it's fun from like a bass playing perspective, but that's about all it really does for me. I mean, it's a solid chorus, and
Yeah.
I could see this one moving a little bit on my ranking, but I like all the James songs better. I like
God.
I like the covers better. It's just
What?
You know what, Greg? You're as bad as Flood, because the story goes that Billy and Flood were driving around Chicago at 3 a.m. listening to like all 486 songs that were recorded for Melancholy. And when Set the Ray to Jerry came on, Billy was sitting there in the car and he was really into it, and he looked at Flood after it was done, and Flood was just like, no. and then it was gone.
Flood's judgment, and everyone for decades afterwards has been like, "Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
That's fuck. That's the best. What the fuck is wrong with you?"
So here's the thing about this song is that I don't get why it's particularly special. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not bad in any way, and I would say it's still a good song, better than anything on Gish.
I'm not even going to use the drop anymore. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, that's the standard
But
now.
what I'm saying is there's nothing that makes the standard. It's like, yes, this is peak Pumpkins. It's
I want to
good.
know where this is in relation to the pasticcio threshold.
Oh, I mean, it's not hard to pass the pasticcio threshold.
Okay,
And
fair enough.
Ranked decently high on the list. What number is this?
Not high enough.
It's like 12 or 14? Or 12 or 13?
No, that's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, look, I would
Sorry,
put
11.
this. I would put this on Melancholy over a couple of the cuts that are on Melancholy.
Well, yeah,
I
it
would
should
not.
be on Melancholy.
But what
Can
I'm
we
saying
all
is,
agree on that?
it's not like blowing me away. It's like, yes, this is clearly one of the best things they've ever done. Like, yeah, it's good. I wouldn't skip it.
When I used to burn mixes for friends of mine to get them into the Pumpkins, Set the Rated Jerry was always on that album.
Yes.
Get people into this band.
This would not have worked to get me into the Pumpkins.
See,
It's
I've
one
been
of
listening
Billy's
for
most
years, and I
emotive
do
vocals.
not get that.
I mean, I
I had
like
a feeling
it.
this would be the polarizing track of that. For some reason, I just knew something was going to happen.
I mean, I like it because it reminds me of Rick and Morty, and I'm just imagining them, like, shrinking down to size and going into Jerry's brain. So it's kind of cool in that perspective, I guess.
Oh my God.
What's weird about this one is that it's so polarizing because it's not like everyone hates it, and then some people are just okay. It's that so many people love it, and then so many people think it's only okay. We're
And
wondering
by
what the
so
hell
many people think it's okay, you mean myself and Steve, because the rest of you loved it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's pleasant. It's pleasant. I've got it close to the top to the middle.
I even disagree with that. This is top 5. This is top 5 material.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
the heel of this podcast.
It'd be in my top 10 if they didn't make us add the fucking A-sides.
It's true. Adding the A-sides did kind of cheat, I think.
Well, I wanted
I
to
have
see
this
how
way above
everything stacked
79.
up with the A sides. I wanted to see, how everything fared. For me, as the newest Pumpkins fan who's diving into the catalog, I don't know about the reputation any of these songs necessarily have. I didn't know that this was necessarily a favorite of fans. And so me, just hearing it in isolation amidst everything else here, I'm like, you know what? I like Rotten Apples better, and I like this song better, and, basically everything on the Tonight album better. It's good, but it's not as good as God. It's not as good as Aeroplane. It's not as good as the singles. It's not as good as anything off the Tonight, and it's not as good as the covers for me. So that's
I guess
No.
here's why I love it. Okay.
No.
So a lot of those songs rely on like the typical Pumpkins theatrics, a lot of real cool guitar tone, guitar layering. Billy's, like you said, his snarl. Jimmy's like weird jazz but thundering drumming. To me, this one is it distills Pumpkins into the core of what makes it so cool. Is that you've got Billy's weird poetic lyrics, you've got James basically just on a small stone phaser, just doing a repetitive lick. You've got Darcy doing her best on bass, it's what she, doing great.
And no doubt looking great while she's doing it.
Right, sure.
I almost spit out my water during that bit.
Don't spit out my mic, Drake.
It's great in the headphones, too. It's well mixed.
Oh,
No one else would have ever done with his weird drumming, focusing on the 3 but not quite kind of thing. And it's pure, it's distilled, it's Pumpkins without any tricks, being the weird, beautiful band they are. Which
sparse.
Here.
there you go.
I mean,
And come on, that open hi-hat after he says "suck you." Oh, come on.
I'll say this. This is one of the most authentically alt-rock songs on this compilation, which is probably why it doesn't really grab me, because I'm generally not a fan of the genre, and this is one of the ones that fits in the genre the best. And the reason I like the Pumpkins is because they dabble outside of the genre so much and bring in so many different sounds. This is pretty strictly an alt-rock song.
Well, I think in that context, you got to remember that Smashing Pumpkins were kind of like, inventing alt rock as it was happening.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yes.
I want to say it's
At least
authentic.
perfecting it.
It's what it is it's authentic Smashing Pumpkins, which is why it's the most unique thing they did, which is why in context years later it may seem derivative, but it's because it was there at the beginning.
This is the same as your earlier example of the people who don't like Van Halen because they inspired hair metal.
That's a completely valid criticism. So yeah, I get it. I don't care for the tune as much as the other songs on the album.
Oh.
I still don't dislike it though. I do not dislike it. So this is not like 90% of Gish.
Easy, Craig. Easy, Craig. Easy.
It's
Many nights to sleep or whatever. That thing.
one of the pinnacles of Jimmy's drumming, I think,
Yes.
of this period, but of his tenure.
Yes.
And I challenge any drummer out there to play that note for note, because I mean, what the fuck is he doing half the time? It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
he's a surgeon in there.
I
Yeah.
like the drumming on every single song I've heard Peter Criss play on more than I like the drumming on this track.
Ooh.
I'm
Oh my God.
guys who bashes.
Easy, Craig.
I'm not one of those guys who bashes Peter Criss. I think Peter Criss has done a lot of wonderful things, but also no.
There's really only one way to settle the Jimmy Chamberlain versus Peter Criss contest, and that is a drugs off. And then
Fair
probably
enough.
a duel with whatever illicit firearms they
Coke
have.
versus Smack.
All right,
Let
so
the
here's the
better
thing.
man win.
I don't
Speaking
know.
of, speaking of Kiss, do you remember that song the Kiss did with Smashing Pumpkins?
Oh, which
Ah,
one's
shit.
The song the Kiss did with Smashing Pumpkins?
Tomorrow and tonight?
No, it was Set the X-Ray Eyes to Jerry.
See, Steve, that completely justified all your listening to Kiss just for that joke. It's the same way that joke about the Dorian on a DeLorean completely justified my musical journey. That completely justified your Kiss journey right there.
Wait, we haven't gotten to that album yet.
No, Tomorrow and Tonight, we listened to that song. That was off Love
I'm
Gun.
done.
Oh,
I missed
I
the
was,
second song title. I need to know it.
I was thinking
Oh,
Tomorrow.
What second song
We
title?
did that also. That was Unmasked.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
All right, so any other thoughts on Set the Ray to Jerry?
What?
I'm sure he does, but you should move on, guys.
Perfect.